People naturally like patterns and structure over randomness. This leads us to see random events as having connections or patterns that explain them. So a lot of times we'll overestimate what's known or predictable, and we underestimate how much luck plays a role. This is especially true in sports betting. We love to think that wins and losses are explainable, when in reality, sometimes it's just not. Let's go through a few examples to show different situations where this applies. In the casino, if a roulette wheel lands on black several times in a row, a gambler might believe that red is due to come up next, or that black is hot, even though each spin is completely random and not related to the previous spin. You should remember these as the gambler's fallacy and the hot hand fallacy. They come from our need to see patterns. Here's another place outside of betting where your instinct to see a pattern can be wrong. We've seen that kidney cancer rates in one state are lowest in the most rural counties. Why might that be? Less pollution? People work outside instead of at a desk all day? Maybe. But now, what if I told you that in another state, kidney cancer rates are highest in the rural counties? Why? Are the states that different? The truth is, there's not a reason that has anything to do with the county itself and what causes cancer there. The fact that there aren't that many people living there means we have a low sample size. Low sample sizes lead to extreme results because in this case, a bunch of people happen to get kidney cancer in the rural counties in one state, and barely anyone got it in the other state. You would probably see the same pattern for other cancers. Some rural counties have the highest and some have the lowest. There's probably a county that has the highest rate of kidney cancer but the lowest rate of colon cancer. Small sample sizes lead to extreme results. Extreme meaning not close to the average. It's the same in sports. There's so much that is just totally unpredictable, but our preference to see patterns and our hindsight bias try to convince us that every outcome had some kind of explanation. This is actually really dangerous because it makes it seem like sports are predictable if you just think about it the right way. The reality is that some things really are just random. I saw a post online a while back that was trying to make a point that the NFL was beatable as a sports betting market. For some backgrounds, the NFL is probably the hardest sport in the world to win at because there are very accurate odds for it. The person who made the post said that the sportsbook's average error was about 6 points. So on average, the sportsbook's predictions of the margin of victory in these games was 6 points off from the actual margin of victory. So they were saying because there's 6 whole points of wiggle room, it's easy to be more accurate than the sportsbook. But does that really matter? This is a classic example of assuming sports are predictable when really they involve a lot of randomness. You cannot possibly predict every game perfectly. It doesn't matter if you're the smartest person in the world. There's a lot of luck involved. So instead of assuming you can beat it because the sports books are usually 6 points off, ask yourself what the best possible prediction is. The best you can possibly do is probably about 6 points of error. So this is a common misconception and it leads to losses. We'll talk about how to recognize what's predictable and what's just noise more in analytics too. Okay, let's recap. People love to see patterns and underestimate just how big of a role randomness and luck play. This happens everywhere, whether it's the casino, the sportsbook, in sports themselves, or really anything that involves data. If you fail to recognize this, it's going to cost you money. We'll talk more about what analyzing data is about in the analytics courses, but for now, that is everything you need to know about patterns and randomness.